Next, we're going to cover loops in Golang. To write a loop is simply a for statement, and a for statement has three parts to it. It has an init part, which initializes a variable. Let's use I, and we're going to set this equal to 0. So within this for loop, I will be 0 to start with. And then you specify a semicolon to go to the next part, which is the condition. And the condition that we want this to run is while I is less than 5. So every time this is true, it will run the statement inside of this for loop. So the next part is the post condition or post statement, which will what we'll do is we'll increase I by 1 each time the loop is iterating. If we don't have a condition that will cause this to be false, the loop will run forever. So we want to specify a statement over here that will eventually cause the for loop to terminate. So let's add up sum plus equals I. Now we need to define sum outside of the loop. So let's do sum equals 0. And we could have used a var sum if we want to, because that's the initial value. Let's add a print line sum, and let's run this. Okay, so it runs to 10. So as you can see, it starts with this being 0, adds 1 to it, and actually we can print each iteration. So we could say I is the iteration, and then what is the value each time. And here we're going to say end. Now that you can see that each iteration it printed out, so for each run this shows the value of sum, and it ends at 10. Now the next part about the for loop is that the initializer and post condition are optional, so we can specify a for loop by just saying for sum less than 20. And in other languages this would have been a while statement. In Golang, it's simply the for statement, again, with different terms inside of it. So let's print out, let's do sum plus plus, and then we'll print out sum after. So while sum is less than 20, we add more to the value. This is simply adding 1 to it until it reaches 20. Now you'll notice if you try to use I here, I is actually out of scope. So in Golang, when you define the variable within the for loop, the scope of I is only in this part here. So you can't use I down here again. You could use I, you'd have to redefine it like this. Another way to use the for statement is to just simply write for, and this would be similar to C++ where you would just write while true. This will run forever, and you do see this quite often in more advanced applications that need to start up, so let's say a web server, and you want to just simply keep checking systems and it runs until it's done. So let's try it here. And you can see it keeps printing out hello, and then you would just do a Control C to stop.